Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. Today, I'd like to go through the first quarter of the season for the Miami Heat and to talk to you about what's happening on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Clearly, Ray Allen has benefited from coming to Miami and their offense has done very well. However, their defense has completely flatlined and they're down toward the bottom of the league in ranking. And I'm going to show you just why that is and why it could be a problem come playoff time. Let's start by looking at the Heat offense. What they do most of the time is spot up shooting, and they're ranked very high with a good adjusted field goal percentage. The guy that takes the most of these spot ups is Chris Bosh, and they do a nice job getting him open on these. The Heat love to run this kind of play where the screener rolls to the hoop, and that's going to force Bosh's man to help, giving him enough space to hit an open jumper. The most dangerous man on the weak side screen is the screener because the screener's man has to help out on the cut, opening up a Bosh drive. The Heat love to run horns with a double high post, and that gets Chris Bosh setting screens in the weak side and allows him to pop out just like the last play for an open jumper. Ray Allen is next, and look at his adjusted field goal percentage. You think he made the right choice to come to Miami? LeBron James gets so much attention, it's almost not fair to have Ray Allen on his team because he can see that pass at the corner every time. And they're so concerned about the flying death machine that nobody picks up Ray Allen in transition for open shots. And if you think Ray Allen is shooting well, look at Shane Battier's adjusted field goal percentage. Staggering. No one's better than LeBron at throwing cross-court passes, and here, Battier's man has to help on the roll man again, and he's wide open. Put Battier and Ray Allen together on a pin down, and there's no way to stop it. They have to help on Ray, Battier's wide open. And Battier gets to stand in the corner all day and just wait for the pass from LeBron. It's almost like Battier should get paid less for his offense because he just stands there and shoots. Whatever he gets paid to play offense, he should give LeBron 75%. Seriously, there's nobody in the league that can throw passes like that. Last year, Mario Chalmers shot 63% adjusted field goal, and he's holding them down this year considerably. Mario Chalmers is shooting a career low from 3 to 9 feet, and there's why, forcing shots. And let's face it, he doesn't need to go to the hoop, and he's not really good at it. Plus, he's shooting 12 percentage points worse from three-point land than last year. I can see why he's trying to expand his game, but this is really not his thing. He's not quick enough or explosive enough to finish within 3 to 9 feet against NBA players, but with him shooting like this, I can see why he's trying anything. With Wade and LeBron, it's natural to isolate a lot to take advantage of that extra talent. However, LeBron James isolates 25% of the time of his possessions. I think that's too high, particularly because they stand around and just watch when he does it. The Heat do a nice job with horns, allowing LBJ to ISO very close to the basket, one dribble away from getting to the hoop. He is now also the man when it comes to taking the ISO shot at the end of a quarter. The problem with these ISOs is that there's no movement by his teammates, requiring him to hit amazing shots. And I think that when he pulls up, it's a bailout. He should be going to the basket using his strength for and ones. If they had movement, then when he does go to the hoop and try and create something, he can pass off to open teammates. But so far, they're just standing around watching him. And there are lots of times when he does ISO and can't make the amazing shot. So his teammates really need to start moving more to get open so he can facilitate better. Physically, Dwayne Wade's been a shell of himself, and isolations have been pretty poor for him so far this year. Dwayne Wade has been extremely average this year in his ISOs, even though it's the second most thing he does. Here he settles way too much for the jumper, probably because his body is breaking down, and there hasn't been a lot of these kind of shots where he makes them. The big story this year is the Miami Heat defense. It's ranked 22nd, which is a far cry from last year, and you can see spot-ups and isolations are killing them. LeBron James against spot-ups is also very poor and letting guys shoot a high percentage. The pin-down screen has plagued the defense of the Miami Heat for 2 years. Watch how the screener's man Hassel comes up too high, Bosh is too slow rotating over, and anybody that picks and pops there is going to kill him. LeBron's defense has been a bit unfocused on the weak side. Here, he loses track of Stevenson long enough to give him some daylight. Can't do that against good shooters. It's even worse here when Stevenson goes through, and as the play unfolds underneath the basket, LeBron James literally is just standing there, letting him take an open shot. Hard to criticize someone for being over-aggressive on defense, but there are times when LeBron helps a little too much, leaving his man open. He also helps when his man is one pass away often, which leads to open threes. While Shane Battier is probably playing the percentages on his over-helping, it's killed him in the first part of the season. The Heat defense scrambles so much it's hard to contain the spot-ups. Bad closeout by Battier lets him get into the middle and he scores. The Heat continually help when their man is one pass away, and that's why three-point shooters do so well against them. Battier in particular is guilty of this more often than anybody else, and that's why his defensive rating is as low as it is against the spot-up. The Heat are much better at defending the cut, and I'll show you why. Because the Heat pursue the ball so well, they're terrific at stopping the cuts to the basket. Watch how Joel Anthony falls down, doesn't give up though, pursues and gets the block, and this is what leads to a lot of the flying death machines by the Heat. The Heat continually get out of position to stop cutters off of screens, and yet they pursue well enough to recover. With all the athletes, of course they're going to get back on defense quickly, but it's not the primary reason why they're so good in transition. The Heat transition D is good primarily because they send almost nobody to the offensive boards. There's Mike Miller trying to get a rebound, and that means they're back in position to stop any kind of shots that the Warriors are trying to get here. Again, the Heat do not care much about offensive rebounds in an effort to get back on defense. And they have enough energy where they can try and stop penetration, close out strong, and make it difficult for those shots. And even if they do turn it over, you got LeBron James back there with an incredible speed burst to stop any shots. And finally, all that over-helping could cost them games. Battier helps on that curl way too much. He slips the screen and gets a layup to win the game.